The ancient Romans almost never carried the kind of deep, stubborn belly fat we associate with modern metabolic problems. Even in middle age, a prominent potbelly was a rarity, a sign of extreme indulgence rather than a common fate. This wasn't about genetics or luck. It was the direct daily result of a world that shaped their bodies in a very specific way. If you're curious about why the ancient Romans stayed lean, energetic, and healthy deep into old age, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss these deep dives. For the average Roman, the concept of visceral fat, that dangerous fat stored deep within the abdomen, wrapping around organs, simply wasn't a widespread health crisis. They had their plagues and injuries, of course, but the chronic, slow-burn diseases driven by that internal fat accumulation were remarkably uncommon. To understand why, you have to step into their day, not as a gladiator or an emperor, but as an ordinary citizen of Rome. Their entire lifestyle, from dawn until dusk, was engineered by necessity in a way that quietly protected their midsection. A Roman's day began with a light breakfast, often just some bread dipped in wine or water. The real rhythm was set by movement. Unless you were among the elite, you walked. Everywhere. Rome was a walking city. You walked to the public fountain for water. You walked to the markets. You walked to your workshop or place of business. You walked to the public baths later in the day. For a soldier, which was a common path for men, this turned into miles of loaded marching. For others, it was constant errands on cobblestone streets, hauling, lifting, and manual labor. There was no exercise hour. Life itself was a continuous, low-grade physical activity. Their transportation was their legs, and this constant ambulation kept their metabolism subtly active from morning to night. Then came their food. The Roman diet was anchored in what we'd now call a Mediterranean pattern, but without any self-consciousness about it. Lunch was often a simple affair of leftovers, bread, olives, and cheese. The main meal, the cena, revolved around vegetables like lentils, cabbage, leeks, and onions, whole grains like farro or barley, generous amounts of olive oil, some fish or shellfish, and only occasional, modest portions of meat, usually pork or chicken. Fruit like figs, grapes, and apples was common. Critically, refined sugar was virtually absent. Honey was a rare luxury. Their carbohydrates came from whole, fiber-rich sources, and their fats were primarily from olives and fish. They ate seasonally because they had no other choice. This diet was not about deprivation. It was about abundance of the right things: fiber, healthy fats, and a vast array of plant compounds. Their relationship with food was also framed by routine. The cena was a social event, but it typically happened in the afternoon. After that, the day wound down. There was no culture of late-night snacking under artificial light. Their sleep was largely dictated by the sun. They rose with the light and rested in the darkness, giving their digestive systems and cellular repair processes a long, uninterrupted period to work. This daily fast from evening until morning was not a chosen diet trend. It was the unavoidable rhythm of a pre-electric world, and we cannot forget the baths. The public bathhouse was a cornerstone of Roman life, less about getting clean and more about community and recovery. The routine of moving from hot rooms to warm pools to a cold plunge was, in effect, a powerful form of heat therapy and cold exposure. This practice stimulated circulation, reduced muscle soreness from the day's labors, and likely helped manage systemic inflammation. It was a built-in recovery system, a way to soothe the body from the physical demands of daily life. So what happened inside a Roman body because of this relentless ordinary routine? The effects were profound and directly targeted the very roots of visceral fat. First, the constant, all-day movement from walking and labor meant their muscles were always slightly hungry for fuel. This kept their insulin sensitivity very high. Insulin is the hormone that tells your cells to take in sugar from the blood. When you're constantly active, your muscles listen to insulin perfectly, so blood sugar levels stay stable. There's no need for the pancreas to pump out massive amounts of insulin. And since high insulin levels are a primary signal for the body to store fat, especially deep belly fat, the Romans avoided that signal almost entirely. Their diet compounded this effect. The high fiber from all those vegetables and whole grains slowed the absorption of any sugars into the bloodstream, preventing the spikes and crashes that lead to fat storage. The healthy fats from olive oil and fish supported liver health, ensuring this crucial organ could efficiently process nutrients and toxins without becoming clogged with fat itself. A condition we now call fatty liver disease, which is intimately tied to belly fat. Their modest protein intake and lack of processed food meant their bodies weren't constantly flooded with inflammatory signals. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is another key driver of visceral fat accumulation and insulin resistance. The Roman lifestyle kept that fire banked. All of this created a virtuous cycle. With stable blood sugar, low inflammation, and a healthy liver, their energy levels were steady. They didn't experience the crushing fatigue that leads to inactivity. Their hormonal profile, including sex hormones like testosterone, remained more balanced well into later life, which is why Roman writers often commented on vitality and libido in older age. Their hearts and arteries were protected by the movement, the healthy fats, and the lack of processed foods. The dangerous visceral fat that stresses the heart, inflames the body, and disrupts hormones never got a foothold. Their bodies were simply too busy living in the rhythm their world demanded. The resilience of the Roman body wasn't a mystery or an accident. It was a physiological inevitability, a perfect adaptation to a world of purposeful movement, whole foods, natural rhythms, and built-in recovery. They didn't fight their biology. Their daily life seamlessly aligned with it. Next, we're going to explore the surprising Roman secrets to lifelong strength and joint mobility. How their approach to movement created bodies that were resilient far beyond their youth. You won't want to miss that one.